Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Wholesale Hotties, a place where ladies in real estate are talking about real estate. I'm your host and MC for this evening, Sharon Lee Smith, together with my co-host, Donda Molinex. Hey, Donda. Monique Fell. Hi, Monique. How are you?
I'm good.
Jennifer Stewart. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey, long time no see.
I know. Girls, it's been forever. We were doing holidays and we did other things going on. It's nice to see you guys. It's nice to be back in a routine again.
Yes.
Anyway, welcome to the show today. Our guest, Rob, forgive me. How do you say your last name?
Anspach.
Anspach. Okay, not a ch at the end. It's a K. Welcome to the show, Rob. Rob, can you tell us who are you and what do you do?
Who am I? Wow. Okay, that's a loaded question.
It's a deep subject, Rob. Here you go.
I'm a sarcastic guy from Pennsylvania.
Nice. Sarcastic
marketing company.
Language, Rob.
No, I'm honored to be here. I've never been on a podcast called Wholesale Hotties, but
listen, you're a hottie now.
Yeah, it's official.
I want to thank Jennifer for inviting me.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If we go back in time 30 years, I started a carpet cleaning business, and that's where I learned my marketing chops. Mm-hmm. I spent 19 years owning that business before I sold it, but over that time, I started Anspach Media in 2001 so I could teach other carpet cleaners what I've learned.
Nice.
Problem is that as I started teaching these carpet cleaners, and I love the industry. I still write for the industry, but I started graduating towards other industries, law firms, doctors. And they started paying me a lot more money than carpet cleaners. So, I had wrote a book all about social media in 2013, and wow. I never thought at that point that one book would turn into 60 plus over 13 years.
Wow!
But and it was the simplest social media book you ever read. It just gave people 27 ways to boost their online, abilities on using Facebook at the time. And I had shopped that around to other publishers.
Yeah.
And a lot of them shot me down because they wanted these thick books. They wanted these technical books. And I like to keep things simple. So I thought, you know what, if they don't want it, I'm going to create my own publishing company and put it out myself.
Nice.
And within the first 2 months of the book being out, I sold 2,000 copies.
Wow.
And I thought, wow, I'm onto something. So I started offering the service to other people. But it took a couple years for that to happen. In the meantime, I wrote, being that I was a former carpet cleaner, I wrote a book with another former carpet cleaner out of Winnipeg, Canada, and we wrote the book called Optimize This. And it was all about SEO and your websites and search and from concept to creation to #1 bestseller in 4 countries took 60 days.
Wow.
And that book put me on the map. And then it was then that people started reaching out. Hey, Rob, help us with our marketing. Help us with this. Help us with that. And, I had this little marketing firm that was doing okay. I mean, I was paying the bills, but the books, made me an authority everywhere. And I thought, wow, this is great. I love writing. I love helping people, but I never knew that it was going to explode the way it did. And so my third book, I loved writing that book, but it was a commercial failure.
Well, we're not all perfect.
I launched that book the same time my wife and I were going to Italy. And
nice.
So it didn't get the publicity. It didn't get the love that I needed to put it out there. And it took like 6 years for it to finally make its money back. But that's life, you learn. And, everything that I do, I try to implement and teach to others. Because, like I said, off screen, I've been a no safety net entrepreneur for 30 years.
Wow. Let's have a moment of silence for that.
I know. Like, what's that like? I know, like, for me, like, I feel like there's no way I can go back to a regular.
No.
Right? There's just no way. But then at the same time, it's a little scary, right? No, we don't have a safety net. We got it if we're not doing whatever.
And the hardest thing for me is not having health insurance bought by someone else.
Mm.
So it's like, hey, we've had kids, we've had accidents, we've had problems. How do I deal? You come up with solutions. And as an entrepreneur, I'm not a very good negotiator like Jennifer. However, I have negotiated hospital bills down to a point where, hey, Rob, you owe $15,000 for this. Oh, okay. Can we negotiate that? And they'll say no. And next thing I know, they're settling for $1,500.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are things you learn as you go through being an entrepreneur that I think a lot of people who work for others never have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And they don't even think about it. They don't think outside the box because they're in a box all day, every day.
And, a lot of the books that I've written or helped others produce, have those stories in it. They share my experiences where they help others tell their stories because, sometimes telling the story one-on-one or even on a podcast is great, but giving people a book with all your stories in it or just some of your best stories, people are like, wow, you gave me a book. Now you're the authority.
Yeah.
And they want to hire you regardless of who else is in the lineup.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And not just any story, right? Stories that teach a lesson that help them grow in their journey, in their path, in their business or whatever. Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
I've written books about social media, SEO, life lessons. A couple of the books that I wrote last year, Marketing the Magic, was all about Disney World, how entrepreneurs can learn from Disney.
Great book.
Wrote a couple consumer advocacy books that Jennifer actually wrote one of the forwards in, and it was the Can Go to Hell series. And I know it sounds provocative, but there was, excuse me, there was Debt Collectors Can Go to Hell, the IRS can go to hell, HOA boards can go to hell, and slumlords can go to hell.
Nice.
And they teach the readers how to fight back against, and like if the IRS sends you a letter saying you owe money, this is how you can defend yourself. And so in the back of the book, there's template letters that they can use, to fight their cause.
Yeah.
And as I progress, as I become, more mature as an entrepreneur, I say that because I'm still the sarcastic guy I was 30 years ago. I just do it in a different way now. But the stories, the books become, more entertaining, or they become more consumer centered. I don't want to have, like early on when I wrote the books about social media and SEO, they became dated very quickly. So I like to write books that are more evergreen, that'll stand the test of time. So in 5 years, you go to read it and, oh, okay, well, what's Foursquare? And I start reading about social media. Some of these things don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Now they're reading about stuff that still is applicable to the year that they're in.
Right. But on the other side of that too, like doing a follow-up, an updated one, it is good for you as well, right? Because now you've got a part two, and so it's another.
I wrote a book. The first book was was called Share, and it came out in 2013. In 2017, I kind of wrote a follow-up to it, but it was called No Experience Necessary: Social Media for the Gen X or the Boomers.
Right.
And it made it easy for the older people to understand how to work social media.
Yeah.
And so that was a big hit. But it wasn't a direct sequel. It just was,
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
A little different.
Yeah.
The last year I guess it was last year and a half ago, I teamed up with Jeff Watson to help him with his Boaz on Business book. And that was really fun because we combined some of the Old Testament with newer teachings on how to have multi-generational wealth. And, with Jeff, he's this legal mind, in the real estate field.
Oh, yeah.
And then, creating this book was really fun because, you're dealing with stories, and he interjected the lessons from Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out and some of the things that people.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and then when I talk, where'd you go? Oh, I was at Chick-fil-A for lunch. Really?
Every day.
Don't ever go anywhere else.
Yeah.
What's the name of that book?
Boaz on Business.
Boaz on Business?
Boaz. Yeah.
Yep.
And you can find that on Amazon. Most of my books are on Amazon, and they're in paperback and Kindle.
Yeah.
Now I have a few of them that are just Kindle.
Yeah.
And I have a few of them.
To help someone put a book out there. I'm sure it's a range.
Yeah, it depends on what they want. If they just want a book, I have to go through it and like with Jeff, he had an idea, and then we expanded that idea to make the book bigger, to be, so when you're opening, you get this full effect.
Right.
And I've also wrote or helped produce poem books, which I'm not a big poem guy. and one of them was a struggle to put together because myself and the other person didn't see eye to eye. So you get that. It's a struggle sometimes. But, one of the things, and I appreciate being on this podcast because when I had the carpet cleaning business, most of my clients were women.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn to cater to their needs, to their homes. I was invading their homes.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Oh, where'd it go?
I don't know. Oh, here we go. Hold on.
You dropped it.
You're back.
Live. That's what happens live.
So dealing with women as clients, I had to rethink how I was.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're writing books, when you have clients that you're dealing with, there's always going to be ones that you're going to have to wrestle with, not physically, mentally sometimes, and you have to decide, is this client worth taking on?
Oh yeah.
And what I love are the ones who are self-aware enough to say, hey, I'm a heavy lift. I tell my doctors, hey, I'm a heavy lift because I don't like medicine and I don't like surgery. So unless it's sleep or food or exercise, I'm probably not going to do it, right? Have you ever had clients, Rob, who said, hey, I'm a heavy lift, Rob. Can you lift me anyways?
Yeah. And sometimes I charge them a pain in the ass charge.
Right.
You have to.
Yeah.
You're going to spend too much time and effort on them, and then it takes away from your other clients.
It does.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
In 2018, I started getting a lot of spam calls, and I thought, what the hell's going on? Why am I getting all these calls? And being like everyone else, I would get frustrated, slam the phone down, and I thought, this is doing nothing but making my blood pressure boil. And so I turned the tides on the scammers and started wasting their time, which created a new book called Rob versus the Scammers. So I took all these sarcastic conversations that I was and I put them in a book.
I love it.
And people loved the book because it gave them laughter. They felt like they were a fly on the wall listening to me, waste scammers' times. Well, that book turned into an 8-book series dealing with scammers and morons and customer service and
Nice.
And I think it was the 3rd or 4th book called Rob versus the Entitled, which came out during COVID. And it was on Amazon for about 6 months until someone got triggered and Amazon took it off.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my gosh.
I had to call Amazon up and I said, what's the deal? Oh, well, someone got triggered by your book.
That's all it takes. Then how is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest still around? I mean, come on. Like, what about all the classics? Give me a break here.
So they finally put it back up and people were like, I had people call me, they're texting me. One person was on the plane reading my book and he says, Rob, I almost peed myself. I was laughing so hard. And I thought, this is great. I have a lot of books that are serious and a lot of books that are educational and a lot of books that I wanted a series that was entertaining.
Yeah.
And so all they're doing was reading the transcripts from these conversations that I'm having with people. And some I'm just wasting scammers' times. And it's funny because now I haven't answered my phone probably in about a year.
Oh, wow.
I came back from France last year. We took my mother-in-law who turned 80 to France for 2 weeks.
Nice.
And I didn't have my phone on because I didn't want to get the long distance calls. I came back. I stopped answering my phone. But what's nice now is Apple's got the thing that screens all the calls.
It does, yeah.
Well, the other day it said I had 71 missed calls. They're all spam.
Wow.
And so they're all calling now because they use my playbook against me. Oh, we're going to just call this guy and waste his time. Good luck. I'm not going to answer now. But, I think everything that we need to do as entrepreneurs is either educate, entertain, or have some emotional feeling behind it that people want to keep coming back. So it's, I don't think any of us, yes, we all do different things, but we're all really in the people business.
Yeah.
Well said.
And so in my coaching company, my whole thing, my philosophy is friends first, clients second. So if you come to me and, hey, Rob, I know I'm not going to do business with you right now, but can we just have a beer? Can we just, sit down and talk? Can we? And I don't care if they call me at 1 o'clock in the morning. They're my friend. And so when I treat them as a friend first, a lot of these clients who decide, hey, Rob, you're too expensive. I'm going to go somewhere else. Okay, fine. 6 months later, they're coming back to me. And I can't say, I told you so. I gotta say, gotta bring them back, let them come in as a friend because that's the only way to do business.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's been fun. I mean, it's 30 years of storytelling, 30 years of dealing with people. You either say, I'm a people person, or you say, I'm all peopled out for today.
Yeah.
And I like to go to Disney World every year to decompress because that's my happy place. That's where I learn, sometimes it's too many people, but I find places to hide. I find places to go, ride rides, but that's where I learn probably more marketing than anybody will ever realize.
Yeah.
And I think everybody, needs that happy place where they escape to.
Yeah.
Well said. Rob, one thing that really impresses me about you is the way that you have helped me with my clients over the years. And the way that any grievance I've ever had, no matter the business, because Monique, you have a business separate from real estate. Donda, you have all types of interesting structures within your real estate. You have a wide array of people who come through your properties. And then Sharon, you and I on the wholesaling front, I mean, it's so frustrating all the time. Everybody wants cash offer convenience with retail price. And it's just so hard to find a truly motivated seller. I don't care what anyone tells you. It's hard.
Yep.
And so all of us have these challenges and frustrations in our business. And one thing that you taught me, Rob, was not to sweat the cheap clients. So I thought, you know what? Things have been a little slow. Let me go find the cheapest possible clients. And I'm just so tired of competing with these people who charge half of what I charge. Let me just bring in some business by dropping my prices down to theirs, was the thought. I was tempted to go there. And it was almost like God intervened and you sent me that book where you were talking about how, you know, whenever you lowered your price, it did not help your business whatsoever. Your profitability wasn't higher. You were busier and you weren't making any money. And I thought, thank you, Lord, for this intervention, because I was so tempted at that time. This was, I think, right around New Year's of 2024 going into 2025. And I thought, okay, Lord, I guess I'm not supposed to cater to the cheapest of the cheap clients just to get more people through the door. And so, Rob, can you please talk about that experience? How, because that applies in all of our businesses, right? Whether it's with you, Sharon, and do I sell to the cheapest of the cheap wholesale buyers, you know, people who don't want to give me any margins, or Monique with you having to deal with all of the insurance companies, and Donda with you with your midterm rentals, I think you had, and some other things. And Rob, can you please share your wisdom on, tell us a story, what happened whenever you started to have cheap clients in your carpet cleaning business, and then you said, you know what, this is total crap.
Well, that was one of the Robisms that I started out with. The cheaper the client, the more hassles involved.
Absolutely.
And you know, I learned that lesson early on, back in my carpet cleaning business. When I first started, my slogan was, "We clean your carpet, not your wallet." I wanted everybody to know that I was the cheapest guy in town, and they weren't going to lose money with me. And the problem was, the only person losing money was me.
Yeah.
I wasn't making enough money to buy new equipment or pay for advertising or buy chemicals or pay people. And the people that I was attracting had the dirtiest, nastiest, greasiest carpet you'll ever, it was horrible. And so here I am working, 10 times harder for pennies. And I thought, something's got to change. So either I go out of business or I raise my prices. And the funny thing was, when I raised my prices, there was a complete shift in the clients that I attracted.
Oh, yeah.
And
Would you say that took some faith to do that?
It took faith. It took, a little mental wrestling, because, I didn't want to do it. And there's still a lot of, and that's in 2014, when I sold my cleaning business to this other gentleman, my prices were really high, probably 40% higher than my closest competitors. I had cultivated a culture of higher pricing in my service, because I knew cheap prices wasn't going to cut it. So I made it more expensive, but I gave value so much to my clients. Well, when I sold the business to the guy who bought it, he wanted to keep his prices so low because he thought, well, people don't know me. They don't, I'm buying your business. I want to be able to, please them. Well, when your prices are 60% cheaper than mine, they're not going to have respect with you. And so he slowly went out of business. And years later, I'd have people call me, "Hey, Rob, can you come clean my carpet?" I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, wasn't that nice to say? I'm sorry, but wasn't it great to say? I don't do that anymore.
Now, after doing it for almost 2 decades, my body couldn't do it anymore. It was getting physically demanding. and I liked doing it. It wasn't the fact that I was cleaning somebody's carpet. I think it was the fact that I was marketing in such a way that these people in gated communities were calling me before anybody else.
Yeah.
And that was the highlight. And I deal with entrepreneurs now every day. I deal with lawyers, I deal with doctors, I deal with, and some of them can't raise their prices.
Yeah.
You know, lawyers have to charge a percentage,
Yeah.
which to me is you're I don't know. But anybody in a service business can charge higher prices.
Yeah.
And you develop a service that is value based, that people want to keep coming back.
Yeah.
And then I go back to Disney because no matter how many times Disney raises their prices on tickets or resorts, the same families continue to go back year after year after year, and they love it and they praise it, and they're getting their friends and they're all going back. So here, if Disney can get thousands of dollars out of your wallet, why isn't that you can't get it from a customer down the street?
Yeah,
that is such a great mind-opening statement, because I like to think that we offer something more utilitarian than Disney does. I mean, Disney offers fantasy, which is fantastic. We all need fantasy time, but all of our businesses are extremely practical. So if our businesses are practical and they put roofs over people's head, or they find deals, help your business. If a fantasy place is completely unnecessary from a survival standpoint can do it, then those of us with more practical businesses should hypothetically be able to do it too.
But it's not just about fantasy. It's about, what experience are you going to get from it?
Right.
What experience are your customers going to achieve using your service versus somebody else?
Right.
And for me, it's always, I've always gone above and beyond. Yeah, maybe, on the internet, I look like this curmudgeon. Maybe I'm this sarcastic guy. Maybe I'm an asshole. The thing is that they know I got their back. And so it's the image that you project. And some of the times I do it on purpose because I want to get rid of the pain in the ass clients right off the bat.
Oh yeah.
And so it's you have to attract the right clients into your circle.
Yep.
And once they're there, they will open your wallet or open their wallets to you, and it's like, wow, I didn't even really do much. Well, you think you don't really do much, but your customers see you doing all kinds of things for them.
Absolutely. There's a mutual respect involved, and people appreciate that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Well, you can go over and above service-wise too, depending on, so you can take care of them. Back in the day, it used to be service first. It's not always been like that. In the years, it's kind of been watered down, but I think people appreciate that and want that, and it has been coming back a little bit compared to what it used to be. But being able to get that service, for instance, we do water damage, and we've got the bottom feeder insurance companies that don't want to pay anything, and then we got the high-end Chubb and Pure who will do everything for their clients. And those are such nice people to work with, because now we get to take care of the client the way that they are willing to take care of them versus an insurance company that wants, no, don't do this and don't do that. It's like, that's not taking care of the client.
Right.
That's not making sure your client's house is pristine and put back the way it was before the water damage.
Well, and also, with every service, I think there's communication involved. You have to stay in constant communication with your client. When I had the cleaning business.
That's a good lesson.
When I had the cleaning business, I would send them a what I called kind of a pre-sales letter. It told them what to expect, how to move their furniture. I added some coupon. Hey, while we're here, here's some extra coupons if you want, upholstery cleaning or area rug cleaning or all this other, and it would take our average sale up higher.
You upsell.
My technician was already there.
Yeah.
And so they appreciated that because they felt like they were saving some money.
Yeah. And
then I followed it up. Send them a postcard, send them a newsletter, send them a reminder. And so the average client used to maybe get their stuff cleaned every 3 years, was now getting it cleaned every 6 months.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's so impactful, and people don't even realize it. Right. That constant communication, that follow-up, that, the number of touches that you interact with your client with your customer.
And, and with you doing real estate, how can you, make it different? How can you make it unique? How can you make it, better than what your competitors are doing?
Yeah.
Yes, you all have their numbers, and you could probably text them and say, how you doing? Or you could leave a video message, or you could do a follow-up, or you can send them brownies, or you could, there's so many things you can do. There's
great
touches.
Rob thinks of things that are so creative. I would never think of brownies for my clients.
You send me brownies and I'm there.
I would be so touched if someone sent me brownies. And I don't even tolerate caffeine well, so I have to keep my chocolate consumption to a minimum. But I love the taste of brownies. Like, that's so thoughtful.
It's and it's those little touches because they're not expecting it. Or you send them a book.
Yeah,
you send them something, but it's
those things that make you stand out and make them remember you the next time they need something in that genre, in that category.
One of the things that we did also in the cleaning business, I would give them a bottle of spotter with lifetime refills.
Yep.
And so they would come back to me, or they would call, hey, I the next time you're cleaning, bring another bottle. Okay. And so they're in control of their little spots, because I constantly didn't like cleaning just the spot. Right. Have me come out there and it's like, is this all you got? No, just call me next time. So it was, you give them a little bit of control that they can deal with on themselves, but they're still going to call you.
Yeah.
So it's, but nowadays I think we've gotten away from the phone. We've gotten away from calling. We've gotten away from sending postcards. I don't know.
And talk to me about that a little bit. Like, what are your thoughts on the AI wave right now? There's so much where, there's AI conversational robots that are cold calling and carrying on a whole conversation. And like, it really does, you're right, take that personal touch out of the interaction with the people. Mm-hmm. So what's your thoughts on that?
I think real voices matter.
I do too.
And as I was telling Jennifer, she was on my podcast earlier, and that real voice, you can tell.
Oh yeah.
You can tell about a tone, an inflection, a pause. AI doesn't do that.
That's right.
When you're talking to, whether it be a senior, whether it be someone that wants to buy a property, whether it be whoever it is, you can tell. Phones make it, these are the greatest lie detector tests ever. Because if I'm talking to somebody, I know if it's an AI. Yeah. Yes, they're getting better. Yes, they're starting to make it sound more human. However, ask it some stupid question and it'll go back on a script. And you can tell right away. I'm not saying ask, your client a stupid question, but you can always trip them up. You can tell. But yeah, I think AI is great for helping entrepreneurs save time, save energy, and maybe clarify some of their thoughts.
Yeah.
But an AI should not replicate humanity when it comes to sales.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah, I definitely like the personal touch. Even going to the grocery stores, I don't like getting in the line, or you go to the place to get a restaurant and they like, oh, go put in the little machine over there your order. I'm like, no, I want somebody to wait on me. I'm sorry.
Now, I did write a book called AI Advantages, and it teaches small businesses how to, outrank and outsmart your competitors. But it's basically helping you write better blogs, write better information, get your podcasts out there, do all these things so that you're out there and your information will outrank
that you then can interact with the people.
Yes. Right. That's what I love. Yeah.
But it's don't put all your eggs in the AI basket, because it's not going to work.
No.
Yeah.
It's but I do think that going forward, that humanity is going to demand, more interaction from real people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 lots that I've gotten under contract this week were because the sellers told me because they liked me. They're like, you know what? One was like, you know what? I don't need to sell, but I really like you. And we're tired of driving down to that lot anyway. So yeah, go ahead, send an agreement over. We agreed on price. And then last week, a guy was, he had bladder cancer and his wife had lung cancer. And he said, everyone else buying my lot. Nobody else asked, what kind of cancer do you have? And I asked him, I said, what kind of, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of cancer do you have? He's like, oh, I had bladder cancer. I'm like, oh, my stepmom had bladder cancer. And she found out because she was peeing blood one day. And he's like, yeah, me too. Right. And so AI can't talk about their stepmom having bladder cancer. And that was the thing that got him to choose me over all the other, people who were trying to buy his lot.
Yeah.
The stories that we have, that we've learned, that we've discovered as an entrepreneur will help us communicate better with other people. And they want to know that those stories are relatable to them.
Yeah.
And once they relate, the sale happens.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it happens right away.
Right.
It takes time. Sometimes you got to spend time with a client. I spent 10 years cultivating a relationship with a client, only to realize after I got the client, he was a pain in the ass.
10 years.
I'm like, there's 10 years I'm never getting back. It happens.
Unrefundable minutes.
It happened. It's here's the thing is and maybe you noticed this.
You develop the PETA charge for.
Yeah.
Right?
Some people only post what they want you to see online.
Yeah.
They only act a certain way on the phone.
Yeah.
And then when you start to learn who they are, they show their true colors.
Right.
And so for me, I show my true colors online, in my books, on my podcast, everywhere, because I want people to know that I am who I am everywhere.
Yeah. Yep.
It's I don't want people to go through 10 years.
Yeah, I think that realism, right? That transparency really goes a long way too. Like people can tell if you're being fake and can tell if you are trying to be something you're not, or put on a show or whatever. And that's one of the things, like I'm a New Englander at heart, by birth, but like moving to the South, you get a lot of this fake politeness and people think, oh, the South is so friendly, but like you can tell they're not really friendly, right?
It's so fake.
Versus in New England, they're just rude, right? We're just blunt. We're just are who we are. Like we don't like you, we're gonna tell you. But I mean that goes a long way, right? In the other way, right? If you are true to who you are everywhere across the board, then the people that are meant to be in your life will be attracted to who you are. And they will your clients will naturally come to you because they connect with
That's right.
One of the things that I learned early on was always share my background, my origin story. Being a carpet cleaner, people are like, well, what the hell does a carpet cleaner have to do with marketing? How are you going to help me?
Yeah.
And when I explained to them, hey, these are the lessons that I learned being a marketer. These are the people that I met that I had to learn from to become a marketer. And it was a general progression.
Right.
And because I embraced that, I could have quit carpet cleaning years ago. I mean, my wife's like, carpet cleaning? Really? I'll give you a year. 19 years later, still doing it. So, but I had to learn.
Right.
And so when I teach lawyers, when I teach doctors, when I teach, everybody else, these are the lessons that you have to learn. You went to school, you spent, gobs of money to get a degree, to get this piece of paper. And where are you? What can you do? Oh yeah, they're great with their industry, but they're lousy with marketing. So they hire me to help them.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is common sense.
Yeah.
But they don't teach common sense in college anymore.
No, they don't teach marketing, and they don't teach Passive income 101. Why is that? Because they don't want the corporations don't want a bunch of competitors.
You know, and when I tell them, you should write a book. You got these incredible stories. Who's going to listen to them? Look, I've written all kinds of stories. People still buy my books.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
that's like everybody wants to hear stories, right? That's what the television is, right? And all day the TV's on, right? Because people they want to kind of be taken away from their own life and live in their little fantasy head someone else's life, and they do that by reading these stories or watching or whatever. So yeah, absolutely.
And I think people in the real estate industry, I think, have the most interesting stories, because you have people of all demographics wanting to buy places. And it was funny because 20 some years ago, when I sold my house in Lancaster City, the people who bought it, and I hope they never look at this or listen to this podcast, because they were like the Addams family. They were just weird. Yeah. But you know what? I needed to sell the house, so yeah, they bought it.
Did they dress in like all black, or?
I had put all new carpet in the house, right, and sold it, new carpet. 6 months later, they called my cleaning company. Hey, can you come out here and clean our carpet? I get out there. There's massive holes in it. There's dog messes everywhere, and I'm like,
oh my God,
I can't do anything. But it was like, that should be a story to tell people.
Yeah.
You have all kinds of people wanting to do a deal. You have all kinds of people that, expect all kinds of things. Oh, I'm giving you all this money for this house. I expect.
Yeah.
Oh, no. But the thing is, then you have people that say, hey, look, here's $500,000. I know it's a shack. Just give it to me.
Yeah.
And they're the easiest people to sell to.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just, we go back to this: cheaper the client, the more hassles involved. Yeah. And if they start demanding stuff right on the phone, I shoo them away. Because I know they're going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that they would try to demand from you, Rob, in that context over the phone?
Well, we all heard of scope creep, right? So, you start off small, and then they start demanding little and little and little. A lot of these people would just come right out of the gate and say, hey, look, I want a stallion. You're going to be cleaning I want this and I want that. And I'm like, oh, can you clean my Bentley too? And I'm like, I'm only charging like $50. So it was, you learn quick thinking, okay, $50 isn't going to do anything. And me driving an hour to get here isn't worth it.
No.
And so, when over a course of, I think it was 3 years, my in the cleaning business, my average sale went from $75 to almost $775.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't that I was just nickel and diming people. No, I was packaging it to a point where, the people found value and they wanted more.
Yeah.
Plus I wasn't going after all the things that should have been, bulldozed over.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem with a lot of entrepreneurs, is they will accept anybody that breathes as a client.
Especially at first.
Yeah, they're desperate for their deals. Yeah.
And they admit to clients, oh, I'm new in business, so beat me up.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
Oh, that's such good advice. I can't tell me how many times I did that, Rob.
They're coming to you because they feel that you're the expert. Why you gotta tell people, oh, you're new at it?
Yeah. Yeah, because then they treat you like you're new. And so that's true for people who are serial entrepreneurs. If you're new in something, Rob, I think next time I try something new, which is inevitable if I live to a long natural age, I'm not going to tell people that I'm new, because that's whenever I get the crappy leads, the crappy clients, the them picking on your insecurities. And remember how we talked about earlier, the refunds, the credit card refunds? Now,
what I explained to Jennifer is one of the things that I institutionalized over the last year was stop using credit cards or stop accepting credit cards for new clients. For first 90 days, they have to pay up front. And it's a big up front, but so they usually ACH it, they bank wire it to me. They got to have skin in the game, because we build their foundation, their whole marketing foundation within that first 30 days, or 90 days. But in that 30 days, they want instant satisfaction. Oh, Rob, people aren't calling. We're not making the money. We're going to cancel. And then they back charge their credit card.
Right.
No way. I got your money. Forget it. No, you already bank wired it to me and it doesn't get reversed. So we're going to continue the 90 days and then we'll go to the credit card route if that works for you. And most of my clients all switched to bank wire.
Yeah.
It was like,
good job.
Yeah. And the thing is that you got to raise your prices. If you're out there coaching people and doing something, then make it worth your while to coach them.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to. Or you're going to end up resenting them. Ask us how we know. I think Sharon was coaching folks for free, which is amazing. I was like amazed at that.
Yeah, and that's what happened is I got burnt out completely, right?
So there's a way to do free and make money.
So it was free with the caveat that they did the acquisition stuff. I taught them on that side of things, and then I got to dispo those deals.
Yeah.
But what would happen is, they would come and they would learn all they can and then vanish. And and I find out they're getting deals and selling them on their own, or they would give up. And so now I've poured all this time and energy into somebody that just got frustrated and gave up, or those type of things. And it got you got burned out. And so I totally pivoted into if you want me to dispo, I'll dispo for you, but you're paying for my coaching. That's it.
Right.
Because my time is worth something.
Yes.
And, if you're bringing deals to me, then when we can make money together, cool. But if that's not what's going to happen, and so you're right, Rob. Right? There's that upfront. If you can pay for me till we get to here, cool. And then beyond that, if you want, some advice or whatever along the way, now we're doing deals together, we're making money together, fine.
Right, because there has to be that connection up front. Exactly. They have to understand how you do business. You have to understand why they're not a pain in the ass to begin with. They have to give you that reason.
Yeah.
So it's getting them to pay you.
Yeah.
Allows them to, be accountable
for
the whole process.
Yeah. If they put X amount of dollars in, they're not going to walk away when they're frustrated. They're going to ask, hey, why, how do I pivot? How do I change? What else should I do differently?
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Because they've invested now. And so they won't give up as easily. Yeah. You're absolutely right. And Jennifer, the reason why you don't say you're a newbie is because you're not.
Right. Not now.
You are switching industries or whatever, but you have skills.
Right.
And so you're using the same skills just in a different industry. So you're not new. No matter
there you
what
go.
we do, we're not new. We've been doing this forever.
Right.
Well said. Yeah. And I also want to say that Rob is a stand-up gentleman in that, I know this is silly, but one time this guy who ended up going to rehab hardcore came in my comments and was saying the most god-awful, heinous, horrible things, which doesn't really happen very often, surprisingly. And this guy, I found out later, like I said, from a mutual friend, he's in rehab now, and he came out and he looks terrible. He gained 100 pounds from drinking all the alcohol. He used to be this hot, rich guy, and then he fell. So for some reason, I triggered him. Maybe being, I don't know. But what was he saying, Rob? Something like, I seem poor, and you seem poor, and everybody seems poor. It was so weird. It was like, good, I'm glad I seem poor.
He was trying to cut you down, and it was like, what the heck is it? And I'll go in and I'll defend my friends on social.
He did. And so most people just kind of back off like, oh, it's not my problem. Jen's got it. Everyone assumes, like my whole life, Jen's got it. She's tough. She's witty. she's fine. But you know what? To have someone actually step in and defend me, I can count on one hand. It might actually even make me choke up. I can count on one hand where someone has done that. And Rob is that kind of guy who was like telling this guy, like, if you saw her in person, she might even be able to kick your ass, man. Like, you need to. Have you seen her muscles when she flexes? Like, what are you doing, my man? You know what I mean?
Bigger muscles than I do.
But nobody defends me historically. It's always me defending me.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you ladies can relate to that, being just tough women that everyone assumes you've got it, and to have, I'll even just say, a man step in.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. You probably didn't even need me to do that. And I know that this society is cruel to everybody, especially on the internet, because the internet gave people a voice to do whatever they want
without accountability.
Right. And so it goes to reviews too. So if you've ever gotten bad reviews, whether it be your service or whatever, I ignore them. I really do, because you can get 100 positive reviews, but that one negative review is going to affect your day. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you bothered by that one thing, that one person, that one comment? And yet we are. Yeah. And so, for me, I just try to ignore the comments now. I try to ignore because over the last year, it's gotten worse. It really has. And TikTok and some of these other channels are worse.
Yeah.
Threads, I don't even try to get on Threads anymore, because it's like negative.
Yeah.
So what is Threads? I mean, I've seen it, but I just
Threads is a part of Meta. So you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got Threads. It's kind of like a
Meta's response to X and Twitter.
Yeah, it's so you see a lot of negative comments, especially on Reddit and some of these. If you can ignore those comments, kind of have thicker skin. And it's hard, because people will say, oh, well, a total stranger I don't even know, never met, is calling me names, and now I must, go to my room and cry. And it's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just want you guys to know, Rob is the kind of guy who will stand up for you. And that alone makes it so that's the kind of person that I want to do business with, whatever he's selling, right? That's the guy I want to know.
Yeah, absolutely. And not just defending you, right? So different. I think so many times I come across people that just expect you to be able to handle it, right? They believe in your capabilities, I suppose. And so it's not just that people won't defend you, but people don't help you either. Right. So many times I hear, you'll get through it, or just keep going, or whatever. And what I really needed in those moments was, how can I help? And
yes.
And you're right, Jen, right? It's those people that will defend you, that will step in.
Well,
that you want to do business with over and over again.
Somebody had texted me earlier today, and they said, basically, we wish we were farther along than we were. And I said, how can I help?
Yeah.
And most people don't know how you can help them.
Right.
That's true.
But they want to know that there's people out there willing to be able to help them.
Exactly.
And one of the things that I think it stumps people is say, well, I got too much on my plate. Get a bigger plate. Because you can always help somebody.
Yeah. Or the help might not be a lot, right? So example, right, is this house I'm in has been this ongoing live-in flip forever. It's like a nightmare, to a point where I was getting dragged down and depressed and all these type of things. And I have lots of agent friends, and there was one in particular that was like, oh, oh yeah, like let me walk through, let me tell you what, she gave me some advice or whatever, and I was like, oh, I'll throw you the listing when it's ready or whatever. But it was nice. But then I had another friend that was like, what's going on? Like, how can I help you? And carved time, and it's not a lot of time, right? An hour here, an hour there, and just would come over and just it just being in the presence to inspire and push me to get work done was enough to be getting stuff done, right? And it's going on market because she was able to just take an hour out of her day,
Right.
and to just get the push, and sometimes it's all it needs. You just need to spend time with somebody.
Well, and also, we're very prideful people, entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we don't ask.
Nope.
We need to ask for help.
Yeah.
And we don't. And then it gets to the point where people are saying, how can we help? How can we help? We see that you're, overwhelmed. Now, before you get overwhelmed, ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a hard thing to do.
It is.
And it's prideful, but it's also like embarrassment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Because especially for people that are out there, right? When you've got a mentorship, when your name is out there, you don't want to be like, I'm struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I see that a lot on social media, especially Facebook. I watch people and they're like, wow, this is great, and all their posts look glorious.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they're crying for help, and I'm like, I thought everything was great.
Great, yeah.
And then they go back to being, having these great posts, and then back I'm like, what are you, bipolar? Come on now. What's going on?
Yeah.
And so you reach out and they're like, well, I'm struggling. I don't have any money, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but you just had all these posts that you were making money. What's the deal? And so it's the
image.
Yeah.
They want that image.
So
and
it's
that's not reality. And that goes back to what we were saying earlier, right? The integrity of being who you are.
Right.
And transparent.
So, I've tried to make sure that people saw me the right way.
Mm.
They see my ups and downs. They see who I am. They know they can trust me.
Yeah.
And, it's hard in this world,
Yeah.
because we have instant gratification. Everybody's demanding, oh, I can just pay for something and have it delivered tomorrow or today, or
Right.
Amazon made it so simple. But the thing is that real human help takes time to develop.
Yeah.
And it's just, people are, oh, Rob, I don't know. I don't know how you can help me. I don't know. Look, you're posting constantly. You're screaming for help, but you don't know that you need it.
Yeah.
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 And when I see that, I reach out. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are some things you see that make you realize, hey, I need to reach out to that person, that are a common theme?
One of the things is and I have a buddy that he I don't think he takes his meds, but he's always posting how great AI is, and he's making courses and he's making this, and then he whines when nobody's buying his courses or his books. Look, I don't want a whining entrepreneur. I want someone who's going to stand up and say, look, this is why you need this product. This is why you need my service. These are the benefits. These are the reviews. These are what people say about me. Or then I see people posting, oh, I made this kind of money. Really? What about, have you told people what your expenses are? You probably made 2 cents after this whole transaction.
Yeah.
But they're out there bragging about their money. It's like, you know what? Your money doesn't really impress me. I want to see the results. I want to see, what people are saying about you. And they don't.
Yeah.
They think, oh, wow, okay, I just sold this for $1 million. Yes, but you didn't make $1 million.
Yeah. I see that a lot in the wholesale space where people will be bragging about how many deals they got under contract.
Under
Great.
contract.
How many actually get to the closing table?
Right.
Yeah, how many
How
disco?
many actually closed?
Yeah. You
And
know,
then
'cause-
you see the HUD checks or the HUDs
Yeah.
and the checks. You don't know how much marketing was. 90 times someone in the trenches every day calling on leads. Like I said, most people want cash offer convenience at retail price. And the only way they're going to go deeper than that is if they want to, if they have to.
Right.
And then plus they have to like you and trust you.
Right.
you know, and I've seen
That's not easy.
No.
I've seen pictures, people posting their houses, or they're posting the checks that they get from their houses, and I'm like, yeah, but you're not showing people all the stuff you had to pay for to get there. You didn't show labor. You didn't show this. That check's probably worthless.
Yeah.
Or you probably went negative after that check. I mean, I wish they would stop doing that, but they think that's what people think. They think that's marketing. It's not marketing.
Right.
It's bragging.
Yes, and it's their image and their pride, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want to look a certain way, successful and whatever, and it, okay. You see right through it.
Yeah. And that's why, years ago I wrote this book called Unscripted, Unfiltered, Unwoo-Woo, and Unguru. And it was just me and another guy, Steve Gamlin, and it was our conversations that we had over 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And they ended up in the book. And it was just, a fun book to put together.
Yeah.
And it let people know that, hey, we're not your gurus. We're not into this woo-woo stuff. And, everything that we do is basically unscripted. It's unfiltered. We're going to tell you how it is. We're not going to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think every book that I put out is different.
Nice.
Every story that is out there in those books, helps people understand what entrepreneurship is all about.
Yeah.
And I see people every day. I struggle to write a book. I've been working on this book for 10 years. And then they look at me and they're like, screw you, Rob. You wrote 60 books. That's because I have a lot of stuff to share. I can't put it all in one book.
And they're not like, like huge volumes, like Gone with the
Very
Wind.
easy to read books.
They're pretty slim. They're books that you can finish in a
2
day.
hours.
Yeah.
I like I said at the very beginning, I try to keep things simple. And when you keep books under 200 pages, they're non-intimidating. You feel like you can accomplish it. You feel like you can read it in one day, and then you go about your business. And I think when people make their books too technical, too thick, people lose interest.
Yeah.
So I keep it simple, and that's my philosophy is. And the thing is, I know that people love funnels.
True.
But you're always one mental breakdown away when you're reading funnels.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So keep your funnels simple too. But no, they Frankenstein them together, make them complicated, and they don't understand how to fix it when it breaks. So
Yeah.
What's an example of that?
Oh my God, there's so many. When you have a simple system that, hey, all I want is your email. Okay, that's a simple funnel. You get them in there, and then you can send them a newsletter later. Keep it simple. Or you got ones that, if they do this, then it goes there, and if you do this, it goes there. And it's so complicated. You're like, is that a customer? Is that just an email? What is it doing? And then in every step, you're trying to sell them one more thing.
Right.
And it's like, okay, this $7 product turned into $7,000. What?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's, I think that, and that's why I wrote this book. Wait, there's more. The dirty secrets marketers use to make you buy
like
stuff you don't need.
But wait, there's more.
It's. I went through and exposed all the secrets we marketers use, and it wasn't a hit piece on marketing. It was, if you're an ethical marketer, you're going to get this. You're going to understand it. You're going to see the all the problems. And if you're a consumer, you're going to see all the things that people do to get you to turn over your credit card. And I didn't want that. I want people to love marketing again. I want them to use it the right way. I want them to be ethical. But I had so many marketers reach out and say, Rob, you suck. You wrote this book. You exposed everything. You probably suck too, because you're doing unethical stuff.
Yeah.
So everything I do, is for a purpose. It's to educate, entertain, or create some emotional response to get people to come back.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we all need. But we have to create a business that is ethical and above board first.
I agree. My mentorship is called the Ethical Wholesaler. So I agree. Well, Rob, we are at the top of the hour. It's been really a great talk.
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed having you on the show today.
Thank you.
And
Where can we find you at?
Well, you can find me at my website is Anspach Media, ANSPACH media.com, or you can, if you want just my books, go to getrobsbooks.com, and that takes you to my Amazon page, and you'll find a lot of the books over there.
Nice.
And
Awesome.
Are you on Instagram and Facebook stuff? Also?
I am on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Oh, everybody, please go to LinkedIn. Subscribe to the Robism Weekly newsletter.
What is it?
Robism Weekly.
The Robism Weekly.
Really?
And I share all the Robisms that I've put in all my books over a course of the next year. I think there's like 11 issues up now, or 12. There's, 800 and some subscribers.
Okay.
But every Monday, a new issue drops, another Robism. And it's just a fun read, and there's no pitch, it's just something to learn.
Nice.
Cool.
Sounds good. Well,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Till
Thanks,
next
Rob.
week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Rob. Thank